Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome up here to Xaverian High School, where NCM is pleased to be bringing you the third game for the Norwood Mustangs, but the home opener for Xaverian. Mark Hoover joined by Kevin Hoover, class of 2014 here up at Xaverian. Kevin, welcome back. You and I have called a couple Xaverian Norwood games. The last time I think you and I called one, Xaverian pretty well handled the Mustangs. And then last year, the Mustangs, in a thrilling extra inning game, walked off with a 4-3 win against these Hawks. And just like that, we are underway. One pitch and one hit batsman as Larkey leads things off for the Mustangs. He gets hit by your starting pitcher tonight is Rhodes. Trying to get his name here, his first name. And that's Pat Rhodes, the senior pitcher out of Northeastern. And so again, we will try to get you names and all that. So Larkey leads off. Mikey Grenham, playing right field, will step in here as the number 2 hitter. And we are underway as Rhodes looks back as Larkey is there. So yeah, Kevin, one pitch, one base runner for the Mustangs.
Like they say, any way you get on base.
Every little bit helps, right? A nice cool afternoon up here at Xaverian. A little breezy, but rain is held off, and a base hit there as Grenham singles past shortstop, and Larkey will move up to second base. So a nice little piece of early offense here for the Mustangs as they're trying to see if they can't get to the senior pitcher, and that will bring up Oliveira, the senior catcher for the Mustangs. Oliveira, in the season opener for the Mustangs, had quite a day at the plate, knocking in 4 as the Norwood took out Dedham. So on one pitch, he moves everybody up 90 feet. So 1-3 to Oliveira, but he gets the runners both in scoring position here. As Jack Sheehan will step in as the DH position this afternoon with 1 away. Runners at second and third for the Mustangs. Solid shot right up the middle. That'll score 2. Sheehan goes to second on the throw, and he's in. So just like that, Sheehan with the single picks up 2 RBIs as the wind starts to pick up around here too, so that ought to be interesting. So Sheehan gets 2 RBIs on his single, moves to second on the throw. And just like that, with 1 out, Mustangs are up 2-0. Shot right there. Sheehan will stay at third. That was Brian Dearborn with the single. And I don't know, Kev.
I haven't
real
had
early right
here on the previous play before another one's already completed. I was about to comment on that 2 RBI hit there. It looked like, the shortstop was playing up a little bit closer, maybe try to get the play at home, and there's a big gap up the center, and Sheehan hit it right up there.
Yeah,
no play.
Nice little piece of hitting, you're right.
There.
But it's interesting, Kevin, as this bring up Chris Sheehan. Mustangs are not even, they are up there, first pitch swinging. And Rhodes hasn't even really had a chance to kind of work into any kind of count.
No, they're swinging first pitch. He must be, he's throwing first pitch strike. And if I'm him now, you got to at least give 1 or 2. If you start 2-0, that's fine. Just, they're coming out excited.
Going out here, fly to center field. Sheehan will tag from third. So Sheehan drives in. Sheehan on the sacrifice to center field. Nice catch there by, I think that O'Keefe is there in center field. So O'Keefe makes the play there. So there are 2 away. And that brings up Chris Grenham. Good to see Chris back. Grenham had that injury. Kevin, I don't know if you're aware of this, in one of the playoff games for hockey.
I did hear about this, yeah.
And caught a skate in the arm. And kind of got it chewed up a little bit, but due to the fast-acting, good move there Rhodes is able to kind of work the pick off there. They got him in a rundown, and down he will go. So Dearborn is out on the rundown, but the Mustangs pick up 4 hits, 3 runs, and a quick top of the first, but very productive there, Kevin, for the Mustangs on that first one.
Yeah, a lot of hits just working themselves up the infield. These are fast hits. The Hawks can do nothing to stop this, so excellent start.
Yeah, good start for the Mustangs here. Again, they won their season opener against Dedham and then lost to Holliston earlier this week, so they come into the season at 1-1. Larkey will be on the mound for the Mustangs, and we will get the Hawks lineup here as O'Neill, Morse, and Rapoli will be 1, 2, 3 for the Hawks. And Kevin, I always like to do this up front, is to apologize for the butchering of any and all names here on the broadcast. But
I'm doing a quick look at the roster here, and I think you should have a decent shot.
You think
here.
Yeah,
McCarthy, Curley, Cohen, Morse. I think you can handle.
Think we should be all right. Well, let's hope so. But setting here for this one, that with Ron Marshalsea working the camera, he was here earlier getting everything set up as we're down here on the third base side. Safe enough, I think, from any and other foul balls and whatnot that maybe hit this way, but you never know. I may have just jinxed us. But our beautiful facility up here, Kevin, like I mentioned at the top of the show, 2014 grad, but when you left here at 2014, none of this was here.
Yeah, the place looks a little different. If where we are here, this was the end of the Xaverian properties. This was all forest when I was here just 10 years ago.
Whoa! Line shot there. Dearborn able to gobble that one up as O'Neill lines to Dearborn. And kind of the same thing there, Kevin. Boy, just one pitch, and it looks like Xaverian is trying to see what they can do here to Larkey.
Well, that's baseball for you. That's another hard line drive, similar to Norwood, except this one went straight to the fielder, and instead of an easy single like Norwood's getting, it's a loud out.
Jackson Morse steps in, the shortstop. Fouled back off the screen there. So 1 away here in the bottom of the first. Mustangs putting up 3 in the top. Hawks trying to answer. Nice pitch there, off speed by Larkey. And he sets to deliver. And a bit high on that one. Seeing if we could get Morse to chase.
Morse here with a real crouching stance. That's a small strike zone.
Maybe helping him on that one there, because that one was a little high as well. Larkey looks to deliver and loses Morse on the full count. So Morse draws the walk. That brings up Rapoli. Nolan Rapoli out of Foxborough, junior on this very heavy senior team here at Xaverian. Last year, made it all the way, I believe, to the Final Four in baseball. Kevin, you can attest to this just in terms of the athletics up here at Xaverian. Obviously, we know about that football team that continues to win state championships. The hockey team is always a chance at the... Rapoli fouls that one back out onto the street.
Generally speaking, if I attend one of those games in person, Xaverian's bound to lose. So I've just stopped going, and they've been racking up the title since.
Right. I think the athletic director's got you on a poster somewhere. It says, "Do not let into the facility." High pitch there, and Morse will get that one without a throw as Oliveri had trouble getting that one out of the glove. So Morse goes down on the stolen base to second. But yeah, you look at baseball, football, and hockey, the big three here at Xaverian are always in contention here in Division I.
And sometimes a ski team.
And I was about to throw in there that not to be undone, of course, are the state champion ski teams, of which Kevin Hoover is a proud member of.
Technically speaking.
Technically speaking.
I have the jacket.
To
It says
prove
state
it.
champion on it, and you could never take that away from me.
And the banner in the gym, so one away as Morris is leading off a second as Rapoli works here in the bottom of the first. Mustangs up 3-0. Larky looking for, good little pitch there. Rapoli thought that might have been ball 4. Looks back down this way to get the signal, and he's raring to go. This is Coach Lambert for the Hawks here at the helm for several decades now, closing in on 300 wins. Shot right down there. That'll sneak through. Good piece of hitting as that will drive in Morse. So bats have come alive here on both squads as Rapoli singles sharply to left field. Scores Morse and picks up the RBI.
Got him on the hit and run. I don't think he scores that if he's not running right as that pitch goes.
Yeah, that was a nice piece of hitting, a good piece of coaching right there. And Roche here in left field was able to get that ball in quickly, but you're right. So off speed here. Pitch is high to Leonardo, but Rapoli is able to, because the pitch was kind of that off speed, got a good jump and second stolen base of the inning, and now Rapoli is in scoring position for Leonardo, who plays first base for the Hawks. So Larky trying to work himself out of a jam here. Popped up. Dearborn tracking. That'll just
drop.
That just dropped in. So Leonardo winds up with a double. I think, Kevin, Rapoli wasn't quite sure, obviously. He had to wait.
Yeah, that was an awkward one. It's halfway between the first baseman and the right fielder, and at that point, you kind of lose it, and you're just hoping for a foul ball.
Yeah, I'm looking out there towards right field, and that you can see the far flag on the far side out by the foul pole, and that is clearly blowing.
It's blowing
right to left.
Yeah, that may have actually started foul and drifted itself back in. It's a tough play. Also, the clouds are like this. It's almost the same color as the ball.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, it gets up there, and I don't know if Grenham out there in right field got a late jump. He was trying to pick it up, but that wind might have got there and probably played some tricks on it. So needless to say, the Hawks got themselves in good position here with one away. Runners at second and third brings up the right fielder Cohen. Jack Cohen out of Braintree, also another junior. Very few. I don't think there are any freshmen on this team. I think they've got one sophomore, and everything else are juniors and seniors. But Kevin, as we were watching, as Larky delivers, there's a shot towards center. Good little leap on there as Moreno's able to get it. But Rapoli scores on the sacrifice. Leonardo stays at second, and Cohen flies to center field, but gets the RBI there. So 2 away. And Hawks have cut into that 3-0 lead. Now 3-2 here in the bottom of the first. Gallagher is the DH today. As he steps in, Charlie Gallagher. He is a Dedham guy a sophomore Dedham player, so we did get the roster from the Hawks earlier, and we're going down there trying to see if there were any Norwood guys. There aren't. We've got a couple Walpole and a couple Dedham. And then the Lincoln, Rhode Island, as that's Jake Leonardo, who is currently sitting there on second, makes that long trip every morning up from Rhode Island. So Gallagher steps in. Oh, that's deeply driven. Oh, and that all the way to the wall on the bounce. Gallagher took that one for a ride.
That was a pretty swing. He got under that one. He saw all of that.
That was a terrific hit there. So a double to center field, deep center field for Gallagher has tied this game. Yeah, he's a big boy there for just a sophomore. That was well struck, and again, that wind, certainly is going to help carry that ball a little bit today. But just like that 3-0 lead by the Mustangs is gone as we are now knotted at 3. With 2 away, O'Keefe comes up to hit for the Hawks. Larkey trying to get out of this one. So ball 1 to O'Keefe. Larkey working out of the stretch and delivers. Up high there, so 0-2. Got to be careful here too, because you want to get yourself out of this inning, but you certainly don't want to groove something that's. These bats of Xaverian are sounding a lot like the bats of Norwood at the top of the first. There's a nice pitch there, slight off speed. O'Keefe couldn't catch up. So after getting O'Neill to line to first base for the first out of the inning, the Hawks have battled themselves back here to tie this game at 3. Larkey here with 2 strikes to O'Keefe.
We fooled him on that last one. Maybe something a bit faster now.
And he did come fast, and O'Keefe was able to take a peek at that one, saw that coming, and he drives in Gallagher, who scores from second because he was going on the pitch.
Well, maybe that's a sign if I can see the next pitch coming, then maybe the batter can too. These kids are a little better than I am, so.
Kevin Hoover with his years of baseball at the Norwood Little League. I know you played on a team that had yellow jerseys.
Yep. We were the absolute bottom of the barrel for that age bracket. I think we won 2 games. And then also I would frequently get thrown out in right field. So if you're playing Little League, you're on the bottom team, and they put you in right field.
You said I'm gravitating towards that goalie position.
Worked out a little better for me,
Worked out a little better, yeah. So, that brings up Lanigan. Quinn Lanigan, the catcher today from Raynham. Some of the Xaverian kids are starting to get out of class, and they're coming on down here. So I think if that might have nicked Lanigan, so now he moves down to first. So Larkey trying to get out of this one here. No visit to the mound yet.
I was about to say.
Yeah.
Just something to calm him down a little bit.
That'll bring up Will Curley, the right fielder tonight. 2 on, 2 out. Fouls it back. So 1 strike here in the bottom of the first. Xaverian, after giving up 3 in the top of the first, has come back to score 4 here in the bottom, looking to make it 5, and that'll make the gap right there. 1's in. They're going to wave O'Keefe in. I'm sorry, so O'Keefe and Lanigan both score on Curley's double. So again, after getting that first out, Curley doubles in, scoring O'Keefe and Lanigan.
And now they're talking to him.
And if nothing else, at least Oliveira's out to talk to Larkey to try to see if he can't kind of calm him down a little bit. Tough break here as it brings up, I believe, the pitcher Rhodes should be stepping up. That looks to be
Jack O'Neill.
Jack O'Neill. So O'Neill steps in. Oh, so they're not, oh, there you go. Yeah, because they had the DH. Disregard. So O'Neill, who lined to first to lead off the game, the Hawks have batted around. He pops it straight up. Dearborn is going to drift underneath it. Again, it's that wind, and he stays with it. Made it look a little more, made it look very difficult because of that wind. I tell you, it gets up there. But boy, the Hawks, after giving up 3 in the top of the first, come back and pick up 6 in the bottom of the first. So they get to Larkey as they bat through the order. And after 1 complete, the score is Norwood 3 and Xaverian 6. We'll be right back. Back here at the top of the second. As Grenham steps in for the Mustangs, see if they can't kind of work themselves back. Had a great top of the first where they picked up 3. But then the Hawks answered soundly at the bottom of the first to plate 6 runs. So the Mustangs got a little bit of work to do here. Maybe both pitchers might have a chance to settle down. But Kevin, I think, you know, for Norwood here, they need another nice long inning to give Larkey at least a chance to kind of rest, recuperate, you know, get that mindset, get ready to go.
Well, they look like they know what they're doing so far. You know, 3 runs every inning, that's plenty of break time, I'd think.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking around. Unfortunately, I don't, you know, for all the facilities, I don't see lights here at Xaverian. So if these go 3-6 innings a shot, we might be here. It gets a little dark.
They got the lights for the football field, but not for the
Yeah.
baseball field. The lights were installed when I was here. That was a big event.
Yep.
The first night game. I still have that T-shirt.
You
by the
do?
way.
I remember that. Yeah.
October 23rd, 2013 or something. I don't know.
So Rhodes picks up the first strikeout as Sheehan goes down swinging. And if my math is correct, that should bring up Grenham. No, I'm sorry. That was Chris Grenham right there, who's just struck out. That should bring up. This should be Roach. First pitch swinging, and he gets him. So Roach, first pitch, grounds to O'Neill. O'Neill throws him out, so 2 up, 2 down. As Moreno steps in, the center fielder here for the Mustangs. Fouled that one straight back. Oh and 1, 2 down here is Rhodes. Looks like he's kind of settling down a little bit compared to the first inning. Count evens up at 1. And shot right there. Keeps the inning alive as Moreno singles to left. And that should bring up Kennedy, who is your shortstop tonight. He'll step in as Moreno leads off first. So 2 down.
Another
First pitch swinging again, and Morse will take that unassisted on the fielder's choice. So we had talked maybe a chance to kind of have an opportunity for Larkey maybe to get a little bit of rest, but
didn't even work a count.
1, 2, 3. So Rhodes certainly settles down here in the top of the second, as the Mustangs aren't able to generate anything. They have 1 hit as Moreno made up that single, but nobody left as he's erased on the fielder's choice. So through 1.5, Mustangs find themselves down 6-3. And maybe that same thing, Kev, you know, you get that, maybe for Rhodes especially, being that this is kind of, as we mentioned, the Xaverian season opener, maybe he had a little bit of case of nerves there in the first inning, but he certainly looked sharp there in the second.
I have to imagine, I mean, I know Coach Lambert, not as a coach, as a calculus teacher. Just getting that half inning in the dugout, I'm sure, helps.
Yep.
There's a big difference between the second and first inning.
Right.
In terms of just your mindset.
Yep.
You know, you've been tagged, you've been hit for 3.
Right.
Sure. Okay.
Right. And you probably, if your Rhodes, you know, if you come out between the first, you know, between the top of the first and the bottom of the first, you know, you're probably a little disappointed. You've given up 3, and they were all solid hits by the Mustangs. But then to come out on the second, knowing that your teammates, you know, have not only erased that 3, but now given you a 3-run cushion, certainly makes, you know, life a little easier. So Morse will lead things off Here in the second, Morse drew a walk his first time up and came around to score. So 0 for 1, 0 for 0 today with a 1 walk. So we'll see what Larky can do. Maybe he can kind of get those butterflies out of the system. Ball 1 there to Morse. Little piece of that, evens it up. Larky loses his cap in the interim because of the wind. But yeah, that's, we can feel it coming around here, and it's really kind of swirling, right? There's no rhyme or reason to some of this stuff, so these fly balls for the outfielders, and we even saw a Dearborn on the infield flies, are going to be a little thing of interest for these folks today.
Yeah, it's primarily out to the outfield, but which direction the outfield is changing by the minute, so good luck to those 3 outfielders.
That's right, yeah. So 2 balls and a strike here to Morse as we head to the bottom of the second. This pitch there looks like it missed. Larky will take a quick little breath. And delivers. That comes inside. And so Morse draws his second walk of the day. So a leadoff walk. Bring up Rapoli, who singled his first time up. And also came around to score. So Mustangs here looking maybe for a nice ground ball double play. Keep things in check here. Comes up a bit high. Yeah, you'd mentioned, Coach Lambert there, Kevin, obviously has been at the high school here. I think he's actually a Xaverian grad as well.
Class of 88.
Class of 88, so Hawks run through that gentleman's blood, not only as a graduate, but certainly as you mentioned, a calculus teacher, extremely popular with the calculus kids, and has really put in a large amount of time here as the head coach of the Xaverian Hawks.
Oh, baseball's a very math-heavy game nowadays.
Yeah.
So it makes perfect sense,
That's
actually.
Right. Good point. Coach Igo on the other side for the Mustangs, also a fixture for Norwood baseball. Bounces there. Morse is able to get up on the stolen base as the throw one-hopped, and Moreno's able to kind of back that one up. Morse doesn't go any further on the stolen base. That's his second steal of the day, so both times he walked and stole a base, puts himself into scoring position. And we'll see if Rapoli can pick him up with the single, I think, as he did last time.
Oh, he's looking for third already.
Yeah.
He is well off second base.
He has got some speed. Larky set to deliver. Nice pitch there, right down by the knees. Evens that count up at 1.
I think he forgot the stolen base. Didn't reset the count. Small
Okay.
count.
And it stays that way. Yeah, we've got the scoreboard behind us. I'm just going to rely on that.
The guy controlling the scoreboard doesn't also do a TV broadcast. It's a lot easier for him.
This counting and math stuff is not easy anyway.
Maybe you should spend more time with Mr. Lambert. Maybe he'll help you out.
So the full count again as Morse leads off second. Larky takes a look and delivers. Ground ball right down. Kennedy across to Dearborn, but high throw draws him off the bag. It's a nice job by Kennedy to make the initial stop. But Rapoli's got some speed down there anyway. I think I may have to go E6 on that, just on the throw, because it did pull Dearborn off the bag.
I would agree with that. I'm not sure the official score
I was
will,
going to say,
but
yep. Well, we do have the book here. I don't know exactly how official that is. I've got scribbles all over it already. So there's fall right there. Nice job, but Morse will tag, and again, with that speed, he'll get in without even a throw. So Morse scores on Leonard's sacrifice fly to center field. So that brings up, that'll be 1 out, and that'll get a quick visit here to the mound just to kind of get that important out. And that's going to be it for Larkey. So Larkey, now we're going to shift all over the place. So Moreno's going to come in to pitch. I think Larkey will go to shortstop. I'm going to try to move these names around here as Moreno comes in to pitch for Larkey.
We just saw Moreno's arm from center.
Yep.
Makes sense.
Yep. So Larkey goes to shortstop. And I think that means Kennedy will head out to center field. So nobody substitutes. They just kind of move him around a little bit. So Larkey is done for the day, but he got that out right there. But we'll see what Moreno can do now as the Hawks have tacked on another one here in the bottom of the second and now lead 7-3. Tough little spot there for Larkey. I mean, again, you kind of have that 3-0 lead. Things look kind of good, and all fine pitches. You just have some really talented, bats here for Xaverian. It's always a tough squad, and then if Rhodes starts to get comfortable, Kevin, it could be make for a long day.
Well, if Rhodes is pitching well, wouldn't that make it more of a shorter day?
That's true. Yeah, a long day for the Mustangs, shorter day
long
for...
Long day emotionally.
That's right. Time-wise, it might be a shorter day. Make it a little bit more difficult, so we'll see if Moreno here can kind of turn the tide a little bit. That should bring up Cohen, who flew out to center field his first time up, but picked up the RBI. So Rapoli leads off at first with 1 out, as Leonardo flew to center field to score Morse. And we'll see what Cohen can do here as Moreno ready to step in. Ball sinks in, but can't catch a strike zone, so 0-1. Rapoli leads away. Struck sharply. Deep center. Again, that wind. Terrific job. As, it looks like Grenham has moved over. Yeah, so Grenham moved over to to center field. Kennedy goes to right field. They're moving guys around on me out there, Kev. And the only
I'm supposed to be the official spotter, right?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was fortunate that he turned his back to us so we could able to see that. So Grenham is now in center, Kennedy in right. As Cohen flies to center field for the second out, and that'll bring up Gallagher, who singled. Scored. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, he doubled. Yeah, Gallagher had that double. That's right. Yep.
Got all the way to the batter's eye.
Yep. So 2 down here. Rapoli is still at first. Nice out for Moreno, Kevin, to come in and at least get that.
That's gotta feel good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I can't imagine transitioning from center field to pitcher like that. It's got to be easy.
Right. So Rapoli leads away. Does not go. Nice pitch right there. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 away. Moreno trying to get it out here and limit the damage. Dearborn holds Rapoli on. Ball misses outside, evens it up at 2. Mustangs all up on the bench, on the fence right there. Trying to see if they can't close out here the bottom of the second. Moreno set to deliver. Gallagher stays alive, fouls it off. Decent little fan showing there behind the home plate on the benches, bleachers there, and some folks in on there on the right-hand side down the first base on that slight little hill, checking things out.
Always love to have a good grassy hill to sit on for a baseball game. That's the best way to do it.
Moreno delivers. Popped up, and that's going to make it out into the parking lot-ish.
Not quite.
Nope, wait.
Ooh, maybe
Way to bounce. Nope. Oh, it's rolling. It made the parking lot. Just barely.
Just tap someone's wheel.
There you go.
It counts. See, I parked way out the outfield. Actually, I am in fair territory outfield, so please no one hit a drive to left.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Remains the count. 2 out here in the bottom of the second. And a little nubber up in front. Already on the play. Oh, that happened twice.
You can tell he hesitated on the throw there. He took like a 2-3 step shuffle before throwing it. He was not comfortable with that throw.
That's true. So Gallagher reaches.
And a play like that, you kind of have to throw it around the runner on the baseline.
Yeah.
So that was 2 feet from the bag.
Yeah. And Gallagher, we had seen him before. I mean, he, for a sophomore, a big boy, and that one gets in there. Gallagher going all the way to third, and not able to almost get the back on the throw there. So Gallagher is able to move himself off to third. Rapoli scores on O'Keefe's single. And so Moreno, who had gotten the 1 out of Cohen, then gives up the little squibber there to Gallagher. And then O'Keefe punches the solid single to make it now 8-3. So Moreno just wants to get this last one here. This will bring up Lanigan, who walked and scored his first time up. One ball, no strikes. And that one gets through, and that'll score Gallagher. Solid single by Lanigan. He picks up the RBI. And we've got ourselves a 9-3 ball game. So what had started off extremely promising for the Mustangs has gotten quite difficult here in the bottom of the second.
It's got to sting too when you have that 2-out error.
Yep. Yeah.
And now you have to get back out in the bag and throw again.
Yep. So we'll see what kind of the mindset here is. You've got O'Keefe out at second, Lanigan at first, Curley, who had the double his first time up, looks to see if he can't pick up a few more. Well, he certainly was looking for there, and great job there by Dearborn to able to get that one. And that's a little easier, I guess, if you're a catcher, not to have certainly the left-handed batter on you. And he's got a strong arm.
Now, the question is, what's the runner doing there? There's a guy at second base.
Yeah.
Why are you off the bag at all? What do you do? Steal second?
So, no balls, 2 strikes. And just leans out that one, but that one's going to stay fouls. Curley was just trying to get the bat on it. As there is a race by the Norwood Mustangs to go pick up that ball. Good hustle. Well, Moreno looks in here, 0-2, trying to get this third out here in the bottom of the second. Feel like that wind has died down, at least near us anyway. Can't tell what it's doing out there on the outfield, but right here it feels nice and comfortable. It's a great afternoon temperature-wise, and the rain that hit us pretty hard this morning has moved through, and everything's dried out nicely.
It's a little concerning waking up this morning. It's 40 and pouring. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be at a baseball game today.
Right. Well, they knew. They gave it plenty of time. Wind blew it away, and who knows? You might even get a peak of sunshine here. But Mustangs here trying to get it out as Curley has worked the count to 2-2. And stays alive with a foul tip there.
He is swinging at stuff all outside the zone, reaching way outside. That one was up at his head, so he's swinging at everything right now.
Waits and delivers. Pops that one up again, that wind. Kennedy drifts over, is able to... I think everything's going to be coming out there. It's going to be kind of like an adventure. But Curley flies to right field to end it. But the damage is done as the Hawks pick up 3 more. And after 2 complete is Xaverian 9 and your Mustangs 3. We'll be right back. All right, back here for the top of the third. Mustangs trying to see if they can get something generated here, having given up 6 in the bottom of the first, 3 in the bottom of the second. Find themselves now down 9-3.
And right, as we said right before the break, the wind has come right back.
Yeah.
So 1 or 2 pops up into the center field, and who knows? Maybe we can start getting some runners on.
So Rhodes looks to continue his, and that'll pop up through. Leadoff single there. I think that was Larkey for the single. Well, that's Mike. I'm sorry, it's all mixed up. So that was Grenham. Mikey Grenham gets the single here to lead things off, because there's Oliveira's coming up here to... Oliveira, who singled and scored. So leadoff single for the Mustangs. Solid shot right down there to second. They were able to get 1. Cannot turn 2. But a terrific turn there by Rapoli, who's playing second base. They're able to get at least 1 as Grenham is erased, and Oliveira on the fielder's choice goes to first. So 1 away. That'll bring up our designated hitter today. Sheehan steps in. Sheehan ground out to the pitcher for the first out of the first inning. So he's looking for his first hit today, as Oliveira is able to get back. Well, they might have somebody running for him. Looks like they've got a runner for Oliveira. Oh, and 2 here to Sheehan.
Sheehan with a real compact swing. He's not going for power at all. Just wants to get the bat on the ball.
Sheehan takes a quick timeout, ready to step back in. Rhodes is ready to deliver. Oh, there. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I just got the number on the runner, 14.
All right, so that's Galvin then is running for Oliveira. Popped up and out of play. Stays 1 and 2. Again, that's why we bring the youngsters here. They can pick up that number from way across the field. So Galvin leads away at first. Fouled up. Give chase. Again, that's real tough there as Lanigan's trying to make that play, Kev. you were a catcher for all of a half an hour, but I'll tell you, that ball gets up there. That is a tough thing to try to find.
And even tougher than anyone else. You got all this gear. You got to pull the mask off.
Find your location, and then you add in like the swirling winds that are up there.
Well, my issue was...
Struck nicely there. Sheehan picks up the single.
That was a solid 7-8 pitch at bat. Good job getting the single.
Yeah, so Galvin moves up. Runners at first and second with one away.
Like I'm saying, the Little League catching's even harder sometimes, I'd argue, than what these guys are doing, because the problem is the ball just never even reaches you. It's 10 feet above you.
Oh, nice play there. Dearborn ground down to Morse. Jackson Morse going to his right is able to stop and pivot. Gets it over to Rapoli, who gets the force as Sheehan is eliminated. So Dearborn on the fielder's choice. Puts runners at first and third as Galvin is now down at third. With Dearborn at first. We have Chris Sheehan here, I think. Looking at my eyes, and he says, well,
that's a 6, right?
That looks like a 6.
That's a 6.
Regardless, 1-3, and that will do it for the Mustangs. Couple hits, but a couple fielders' choices, 1 hit, 2 men left. Mustangs aren't able to play it anymore, so through 3.5, Hawks 9, Mustangs 3. We'll be right back. And back here at the bottom of the third, as Moreno starts his first inning of complete pitching, having come in for relief of Larkey partway through the second. And O'Neill leads off here. With 2 balls and no strikes. O'Neill playing down at third today. He popped to first base last time and lined to first base his first time up, so Dearborn's gotten to know him quite well, and I'm sure O'Neill would probably like to try to hit to some other part of the field except down by first base. And just like that, it draws a 4-pitch walk. Brings up Morse, the speedster, who has walked twice, stolen a couple bases, scored 2 runs. To try to be able to keep him perhaps off the base paths, but it's been difficult thus far today. Strike in there. 0-1 the count. So a nice little pitch there by Moreno.
It doesn't seem like Morse is going to swing it too much, except the exact one he wants.
Yep. Well, it's like one of those, if he's getting on base.
And then you quickly follow in 2, though, when you choose not to swing. Sometimes you do have to swing.
Yeah. Looked like he wasn't too pleased with that one as he turned back to look at the dugout, but count remains as it is, 0-2. Pops that one way up in the air. As Larkey will take it for the first out, so nice to have Morse off the base as he pops to the shortstop. So 1 away brings up Rapoli. He has been on twice, scored twice. Pitch, nice block there by Olivarias. He's able to kind of scoop that one, keep it in front of him, and keep O'Neill on first. So 1 down here in the bottom of the third. 9-3 Hawks. 6 for them in the bottom of the first, 3 in the bottom of the second. Mustangs hoping to put up a goose egg on them here in the bottom of the third and maybe slowly claw their way back. But got to get through this really talented, tough lineup to do so. Morris is through with a stolen base. I'm sorry, that O'Neill's through there for the stolen base. I'm so used to more scoring, so many stolen bases, but these Hawks, Kevin, are not afraid to run.
They're not. I don't know if he saw it or that was just good timing, but they have been stealing bags on these off speed. So, there's a wild pitch goes through, pass ball. So he's been, they've been trying to dig these balls out of the dirt and then pick off a man at second. And that's much harder to do.
Yep. So Rapoli picks up the walk. O'Neill down to third as the ball kind of bounced slightly away from Oliveria. So he leads away from third. Rapoli off of first. And that would bring up Leonardo, the first baseman. Singled his first time up. Sacrifice fly to center field the second time up. So 0-1 to the first baseman. Off speed there, drops in nicely. 0-2. Looking down here, and bullpen here, it looks like Wenstrom's warming himself up. See what happens there. And 3 pitches. First strikeout of the day for the Mustangs as Leonardo goes down swinging on 3 straight pitches. Nice little piece of pitching there by Moreno. And that should bring up Cohen. He's flied to left field for the RBI and flied to left field again. So Rochi's gotten to know him just as well as O'Neill had gotten to know Dearborn a couple times. So let's see if this time if Cohen's going to try to find a different part of the field to send this one to. Is Moreno ready on the 1-0 count? Quick look back. And Rapoli is there in time. Rapoli at first and O'Neill at third, 2 down here in the bottom of the third. Nice pitch there as he evens the count at 1.
He's definitely found that control as the inning's gone on.
Yeah, it's one of those, if again, I certainly do not profess to be a baseball player, but if I'm a pitcher, you really kind of want to, maybe if you start to feel that groove, Kev, get that ball back, sit and deliver. Another nice pitch right there. As Moreno finds himself now ahead in the count, 1-2.
Yes, on certain days, certain pitches are working for you better than others. You just got to find which ones those are. He's got a lot of guys looking on this off-speed stuff.
Let's see what he does. Foul tip there. So Cohen able to stay alive, but looked like that's where he was trying to throw, Kev.
Yep. Although, now with 2 strikes, you're not going to be looking as much, so. Let's see what he's got here.
And the 1-2. Just a bit outside. Cohen doesn't bite. Evens up the count at 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bottom of the third. 9-3 Hawks. Runners at first and third. And a terrific job there as he rings up Cohen, so Moreno gets back-to-back strikeouts. Big inning for the Mustangs as they have no hits, 2 men left. And now after 3 complete, it is the Hawks 9 and your Mustangs 3. We'll be right back. All right, we're back here, top of the 4th inning. Chris Grenham leading off for the Mustangs. Evens up the count at 1-1 as Rhodes is starting to kind of get into a groove now, Kev. After that, gave up 3 runs at the bottom of the first and then has really settled down. Just the 1 strikeout, but has been fairly good at keeping the Mustangs off of the board.
And what contact they have got has been kind of weaker stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that first inning, you know those balls that were hit were real, good solid hits, and
you can hear the difference from
yep,
there.
Yep. And since then, Rhodes has settled down nicely. So full count here to Sheehan. I'm sorry, to Grenham. And down he goes. So 1 up, 1 down for the for the Mustangs. That should bring up Roche. Good solid hockey player from the Roach family of hockey players. Swings and misses there, 0-1. Kind of the same thing, I think, Rhodes is get himself into a groove, get that ball back.
Now, obviously we don't have a radar gun on here, but I think his velocity's ticking up each inning.
I would, I have to tend to agree. Foul there, not by much. But yeah, he seems to be kind of getting into that rhythm, as it were, and
right, as I mentioned, the speed. He was late to that ball. Fouled it past the first base side. Norwood's had struggling to catch up to this speed.
A 1-2 delivery.
And right as we
talk
that,
we talk about the speed, and I think
Yep.
he's just like, okay, fellas, now I'm going to dial this one back a little bit.
Yep. No, he finished his swing before the ball even reached the plate.
That's a nice piece of pitching, and credit there, Lanigan, to the catcher if he's kind of helping call, what to throw. Smart piece of pitching right there. So 1 pitch up here for Moreno. Moreno all the way across, a terrific throw by O'Neill. And just like that, 1, 2, 3 go the Mustangs. All right, ready here for the bottom of the 4th as Gallagher steps in the DH today. Moreno still on the mound. First pitch swinging there, right down to Dearborn, able to stay with it, and looks like it was foul. That one kind of ate him up a little bit there, Kev. As Gallagher dribbled that one down the first base side.
Must have hit the chalk or something down there.
It was interesting, too, because Gallagher, his first time up, just absolutely crushed that one ball to deep center and had the double. And then last time up in the bottom of the second had that little nubber right out front and then decides to do the exact same. Now that was well struck, too, all the way to the wall. Gallagher hits second, and he's going to hold there for his second double of the night.
Now Gallagher, you can see, has this big, wide swing, and if that hits, it's going all the way to center. If it just misses by a little bit, though.
Yeah, and
it's
that's
a little trickler down the line.
That's right, exactly. Yeah, his first time up, that's kind of where he hit that first ball, deep center field. The second time up had that little number up in front that Oliveira couldn't kind of get around him, and then he comes back here and leads off the bottom of the 4th with a big double. So O'Keefe comes up here 2 for 2 tonight, 2 singles, run scored, leadoff man out of second. So going to see what he can do. Fouled up and out of play. Evens up the count at 1. But it was nice the Mustangs were able to get out of the bottom of the 3rd with no runs, and see leadoff double, see if Moreno can work around this. Fouled out of play, 1-2. Kind of like the same thing. Like you'd like to see if maybe Moreno's velocity can tick up a little bit as he gets a little bit more comfortable out there.
Well, it was that stuff that got him the K last inning. It was that exact pitch that worked last time, but couldn't get him to bite.
Yep. That one had a little bit of pop on it. Evens up the count at 2. 2-2. Nobody out here in the bottom of the fourth. Gallagher with a leadoff double for the Hawks. Moreno trying to get O'Keefe. Grounds it down to second. Sheehan over to Dearborn. Moves Gallagher over to third. So one away. And that'll bring up Lanigan, who walked and singled, scored. So Gallagher at third. Big swing. I think Lanigan was just trying to put that one up in the air and let the wind take it.
Or is that wind from the bat?
Yeah.
That was a big swing.
Yeah, see the sun's starting to come out. Seen a few shadows here. Evens up the count at 1-1. And Moreno delivers. Oh. Sharp little throw there. The Norwood catchers over the years have been just known to do that. They are not afraid to make that throw. I think back to Kidd, who was a catcher for the longest time for the Mustangs. They will just snap that ball down there, and if runners aren't careful, you kind of lull them into a false sense of security, as obviously Gallagher was partway down, and Laverius snapped that ball down there.
I was going to ask, that must be part of the Norwood coaching philosophy.
Yeah, there is a repertoire where that is something that they will pull out once or twice a game.
And Gallagher was not ready for
Yep.
that.
Just able to get his foot under the tag. Great little off speed there. Makes it a full count, 3-2 with one away. Lanigan looking to see if he can't score Gallagher here. Hawks up 9-3 in the bottom of the fourth. Again, that's a deep drive. That should score. And now that's going to get over the head. So that's going to score Gallagher easily. Lanigan will stop it. Oh, I'm sorry. That's number 23. So he must be stepping in. Here we go. Lanigan was number 4. So 23. So that's Graham Waltrip.
23. That'd be Brady Hargraves.
I'm sorry. Brady Hargraves has assumed the catching position, I suspect. So we're going to try to, as Coach Lambert probably starts to shuffle in some players here. So we're going to give our apologies for that. So,
And this looks to be Will Curley stepping in.
so Curley stays there.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. So Lanigan must be done for the day. Curley, who has doubled and flown to right field. 1 for 2 today. As Hargraves leads off second. Oh, and 2 count here. Fouls away. Yeah, it's probably something, Kevin, we're going to start to see again. As we know that there's going to be a pitching change. For in the 5th, as Wenstrom I think is going to go in for Xaverian. Sharp into the Hawks dugout, bounces right back out. Keeping everybody on their toes as it remains 0-2. One away is, again, Hargraves leads off at second. A little high there, 1-2, hoping to get him to chase, but he wasn't going to do it. Hawks have had some well-hit balls here today. Oh!
Coach Lambert almost the perfect snag. Oh, that was not Lambert, sorry.
Could hear the reaction from the dugout from here.
Barehanded, too.
Yeah. Count remains 1-2. 10-3 Hawks here in the bottom of the fourth. Moreno on the delivery. Popped way in the air. That'll stay in the infield. Larky's underneath it. Able to squeeze it. 2 away there. So Curley pops to the shortstop. Should bring us back to the top of the order. And that should be O'Neill, number 12. Yep. O'Neill, who is lined to the first, popped to first, and drew a walk in the third. Looking for his first hit of the day, and Moreno delivers with the first pitch strike. So 2 away here in the bottom of the fourth. Mustangs trying to get out of it again. And just like that, 0-2. Moreno on the 0-2 delivery. And kind of like Curley, going to start to make him on this pitch count here. Curley had a pretty decent at-bat with a number of foul balls, and O'Neill stays alive with a foul ball as well. And the delivery. Line down there right through the middle. That'll get through. So O'Neill with his first hit of the day as he scores Hargraves. I have a 2 there, thus the inning for Xaverian. It makes it 11-3 here in the bottom of the fourth. Should Morse steps in.
That's got to be frustrating. You're 1 strike away from getting out of the inning about 7 different times in the last 2 batters.
Yeah, it's been kind of the story of the game thus far. You know, obviously, Xaverian has hit the ball extremely well. They've been very aggressive. Morse here again with a couple walks and a couple stolen bases. So once these Hawks are on the base path, they just keep moving up. Ground ball down there. That's going to get through. And then we're going to move up 90 feet as Rochi will get that one in real quick. So Morse singles. Moves O'Neill up to second. Still 2 out. That brings up Rapoli. He's had a couple hits and a walk. Again, just trying to get out of this inning here. 11-3 Hawks. Threatening for more with 2 away. Off speed gets by. Everybody advances 90 feet. Again, absolutely no activity whatsoever over in the Norwood bullpen. Kind of difficult again. They've had a couple games already. Mentioned the opening day win against Dedham. Tough one against Holston the other day, a 5-2 loss. So I don't know what Coach Igo has for pitchers, but they're going to try to get through with Moreno here anyway in the bottom of the fourth. 2 balls, no strikes.
Well, it's tough when you don't have that killer strikeout pitch. You know,
Yeah.
he's able to sneak these ones in for strike 1 and 2, but once the defensive swing happens, he doesn't seem to have the power to get that 3rd strike.
Yeah. You mentioned that dropping that one in there. That's a nice little pitch there to make it 2 balls and a strike. To the second baseman. 2-1 pitch. Low, 3-1. come in here. At the same time, you just got to be careful because don't want to groove anything, but we'll see if it gets a green light on a 3-1. And Rapoli draws the walk. So that'll load him. Let's see who we got coming up here. It looks like it's still Leonardo, the first baseman. And that's going to be it there for Marino. And now pitching for the Mustangs, I guess it's going to be Chris Grenham. So Grenham moves to the mound. Marino goes back to center field. And we're going to change a few gloves here. So Marino back to center. Chris Grenham moves from third base onto the mound. And I think Canitti's going to move as he comes into the infield. Mustangs will try to get themselves organized here. So I think
let's let them
Larky's
talk it over before we announce the positions.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll wait for them to get there. How's that sound? Probably easier to figure that all out.
At this point, we're just guessing. So.
So 2 outs of bases are loaded. Grenham will see if he can't close this one for the Mustangs here as they find themselves down 11-3 in the bottom of the 4th, and it's just been a tough day for the Mustangs. Kev started out very promising, picking up those 3 quick runs in the first, but it has been all Hawks since then.
Yeah, I have to imagine, letting up 6. I'll immediately, we're feeling good, we're swinging, we're hitting, and all of a sudden, no.
Just like that, right?
And you're in the batter's box thinking, oh, now I got to come back.
Right. Yep.
That alone changes just enough.
So we will get the positional changes hopefully as we go along, but Grenham delivers. Hart shot right up the middle. Wow. Grenham had to duck out of that one. Zips down, second base able to get that ball over, and just like that, they were able to at least get out of the inning. So one pitch by Grenham gets it done, almost has his head taken off, but he's able to react enough to get out of the way, and the Mustangs were able to at least cut that one down. So Xaverian picks up 2, and after through 4 complete, it is 11-3. Xaverian. We'll be right back. All right, back here for the top of the 5th inning. Mustangs again down 11-3. Trying to see what they can do here as we have a new pitcher for Xaverian. As Rhodes is done for the day, as number 6 Nick Wenstrom comes in from Canton. Senior, saw him warming up a little earlier. I think Hargraves will stay in as the catcher. And we'll see if there are any other changes as they kind of go through the day. It's kind of tough to pick up names and numbers. So it looks like that is Larky up, hitting there, number 2. So Larky had started his pitching, had moved to shortstop. So everybody getting a little chance to do a little bit of everything here. Throws with 2-1 count. Pulls the trigger of that, and Westrom is able to even it up at 2-2. So Rhodes did a nice job after giving up those 3 in the first. That one's curving away and will stay foul. And then settle down Kevin. I thought he settled down really nicely. Obviously, his last inning there, 2 strikeouts and a 6-3 to end it. So a 1-2-3 inning for Rhodes. So he might have had a pitch count, might have been a little high in the first inning. Although the Mustangs in that first inning were hopping on his first pitch swinging. So even that was probably not all that high.
Yeah, it was impressive. He actively looked noticeably better every single inning.
Yep. Great job there. I think that's Morse over to Leonardo. So Larky goes 6-3. And 1 away for Wenstrom. Looking down here. Again, it should be Mike Grenham, but kind of hard to tell from this vantage point. We'll have to wait to see, get a number on the back of the jersey. Wenstrom throws in there for strike one. That is Mike Grenham. All right.
Well done.
At least Grenham gets the bat on the ball, right down to another 6-3. So back-to-back shortstop to first base. 2 up, 2 down for the Mustangs. Wenstrom doing a nice job there of inducing the ground balls.
Well, we got a good look at him in the dugout, or the bullpen right in front of us, and he's got some velocity too.
Brings up Oliveria here with 2 down in the top of the 5th. Big strike one. Bounces away. 1-1. Ooh. Oliveira ducks away out of that one, but yeah, you talked about some of that velocity, Kevin. That was certainly evident right there.
I wasn't entirely sure if it was just, you're a little closer to the bullpen of the mound, but nope, that's definitely quick.
Quick little change there, evens the count at 2-2. So 2-2 to Oliveira. 2 away here in the top of the 5th. Gets him looking, so a 1-2-3 inning just like that. Very effective for Wenstrom. He has 2 ground balls and a strikeout looking. And through 5.5 now. No, 4.5. I get that.
4.5, yeah.
4.5.
Going into
the bottom of the 5th. It is Xaverian 11, Norwood 3. We'll be right back.
See what that is.
All right, and back here for the bottom of the 5th. Leading off for Xaverian. Is Grayson Meza. So it looks like he may be taking over for Leonardo at first base.
Well, at least has an outfielder on the roster, so who knows?
So Meza steps in. Grenham delivers to him. And a 4-pitch walk. Probably not the way that Grenham wanted to start it here, the bottom of the 5th. Couple changes. I know Griffin Kelly was in here at left field for us. Taking over for Roche, and there is some action way down in the bullpen here for the Mustangs, all the way down to right field.
Are they warming up with the batting cages?
And a double play there. Nicely done as the Mustangs are able to turn the double play, and the leadoff walk is eliminated. So 2 quicks out there. Nice little turn there by the Norwood infield. So just like that, 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. Grenham ready to deliver on the 1-0 count. Ground ball there. Nice job. Just like that. Boom. Take that. 1-2-3 with a double play. And the Mustangs were able to get through the 5th with no damage. So now through 5 complete. Your score is Xaverian 11 and Norwood 3. And we'll be right back.
I better not.
All right, we're ready here for the top of the 6th. Mustangs down 11-3, trying to see if they can get a little something going here. Wenstrom came in to start the top of the 5th and went 1-2-3. picks up right where he left off. Swing and a miss right there, and just like that, picks up another strikeout. Sheehan is a victim. That's back-to-back strikeouts. A little bit of action going on across the street.
We got one ambulance, one fire truck so far.
So one away as Dearborn steps in. Dearborn trying to keep things going again. Wenstrom just working extremely quickly, extremely efficiently. Connell had been out in that far bullpen for the Mustangs. Looks like whatever he was doing to get ready. See if we can see him at here in the bottom of the sixth. But right now, the Mustangs looking to get anything going. It's been very difficult thus far. Very quiet since that first inning when they put up 3, and that's kind of been it. Good solid pitch there. Makes it a 3-1 count. Dearborn fouls it back to make the count full. Full count, one away. Here in the top of the 6th. Wenstrom gets the count. Signed and delivers. That'll be out of play. And we'll do it again. As Winston gets the sign and delivers. Checked and did not go. So gets the base on balls there as Dearborn heads down with a walk.
Great hold. A lot of people have been chasing this high stuff. Good job getting the walk.
So Dearborn leads away. Brings up number 6 for the Mustangs. And of course, when I picked up the lineup from Coach Igo, I thanked him for it. He says, well, don't thank me. And now I know why, because he did not write down number 6, so we're not quite sure exactly who that is. And I don't have a complete team roster, so I apologize to number 6, who goes down looking. So 2 up, 3 up, 2 down so far. 2 strikeouts so far by Wenstrom, who's come in and has got 3 strikeouts to date, so Coach Lambert, boy, it's kind of a nice little thing to have, right? Ball skips away, and Dearborn's able to get down from the stolen base.
Yeah, we were commenting over the break. It's a little different. The Norwood's been pulling out their pitching staff from elsewhere in the field. Meanwhile, here right in front of us, Xaverian's been just having a rotating people in this bullpen.
Yeah, it kind of makes a little difference, right? If you know, for example, right down here in front of us, Graham Waltrip's down there warming up, and a long run, not able to get to it in the foul territory. Well, Waltrip is down here warming up, and to the extent that they need him, versus, like you said, Kev, if you have to pull someone from center field, right field, basically they're getting, a half dozen warm-up pitches. Meanwhile, if Wenstrom gets himself into any kind of difficulty, or they need to change him out, you've got somebody already warmed up. So it's a nice situation to have when you've got a deep pitching staff like they do here at Xaverian.
Well, we've seen that for pretty much everyone coming in for Norwood, is that, that first batter, there's been quite a few walks in the first one. Wenstrom came in and he just immediately went 1, 2, 3. So just having a few extra minutes of warm-ups makes all the difference, it seems like.
For sure. Yeah, he was down here in the bullpen warming up. Not only throwing, but just kind of stretching and all that, and so he was ready to go when he got the call. So 2-1 count here, evens it up in 2-2. Trying to close it out. Here in the bottom. I'm sorry, the top of the 6th. Drops in. Runs the count to 2-2. Chris Graham trying to keep the inning alive here. Did a little bit of pitching for the Mustangs. We'll see if he finishes. Pops that one straight up. And battling the wind, the Xaverian's able to put that one away. So other than the base on balls, Wenstrom comes in and does a nice job. And we have gone through now 5.5, where again, score remains Xaverian 11 and Norwood 3. And we'll be right back. All right, back ready here for the bottom of the 6th. Again, the Hawks up 11-3. Just watching some of the next generation warming up down here, rolling up and down the hill. But that's got to be a kind of a...
Do it again.
Yeah, I know, yeah. 16 rolled down the hill extremely nicely. But that's going to be kind of a thrill for these kids if this is where they're... I mean, I'm assuming this is a game for them next time because they're all dressed up. I mean, just look at the size differences. 14 walks by them. I mean, that's got to be kind of a thrill. And, you know, to be able to play on this field, you know, following these guys, I'm hoping they're not playing the 90 feet, but...
That'd be a tough throw.
That would be a tough throw. See, that's what you guys used to look like.
No, I wasn't nearly that cute.
So Mustangs trying to see what they can do here. Lots of different changes. Trying to catch who's pitching now for the Mustangs. Maybe they moved Dearborn. Yeah, and it looks like number 8. So Brian Dearborn is moved from first base onto the mound. Connell is moved down to third base, number 18. So, you know, kind of, you know, Kevin, it's like a situation like this, given the score and kind of where you are, that, you know, you get the chance to have, you know, other folks that, you know, maybe in closer games are not, you know, going to necessarily see some time. So, you know, you've got the next generation of players coming up, and you want to be able to give them a chance. And probably the same thing here, too, with Xaverian. Again, they've got, you know.
Well, they don't have many underclassmen to pick
right,
from,
exactly,
so.
yeah. So that is a powerful lineup if that is, you know, primarily seniors, and be interesting to see, you know, again, last year their team went to the Final Four for baseball. See how many seniors they had on the team last year, you know, versus, you know, these all being returning guys from the year before. So if that's the case, then, you know, watch out for this squad.
Well, generally, you know, Xaverian's a pretty similar class size to Norwood, but
Yep.
for the boys' baseball team, they have twice as many people to pull from.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think they got that
Yes,
way.
right. Yeah, yep. Yeah, you know, I mean, you know, again, it's obviously it's a terrific school up here, terrific facilities, and you know, I mean, you just know, we talked earlier about the, you know, the powerhouse that are some of these sports programs, you know, between, you know, the Catholic Conference usually being that they are for the Final Fours in hockey and for football and whatnot, and it's always kind of fun when maybe a public school gives them a run for the money, but, you know, they are able to, you know, very often attract some of the top athletes. That one skips away. Banner's first and third with nobody out. But, you know, I mean, it gets kind of tough sometimes to compete against, you know, these schools, again, just given some of the talent that, you know, want to come here to play at these schools.
Well, it's hard for me to confirm nor deny that. They weren't recruiting me to play any sports, personally.
I don't remember the letters, the phone calls from the coaches, although I do remember, well, that one's going to get all the way to the wall there. Nice solid hit. I do remember, what was it, your freshman year, you trying out just for freshman hockey, and how many goalies?
There were 6 goalies.
6 goalies
for the
freshman team. Just
alone.
Yeah.
I do not believe there were 6 goalies across the entire level at Norwood High at the time.
Yeah. You knew you'd kind of come into a different world when you have 6 goalies.
That was something else, man.
Yeah.
And I'm still a little upset about the results of that, because I'm not saying I was one of the best 3 goalies at that tryout, but I was eyeing some of the other guys and trying to gauge where you fit. And I remember specifically looking at one kid and thinking, okay, at least there's one I'm better than. So at least I'm not. And he was one of the 3 that made the team. So I know nothing about goaltending, apparently. Or I think they already had the kid's name in. The fix was in. If it weren't for that,
everything would have changed. Wound up somewhere in playing D1 hockey.
Oh, for sure.
Well, that goalie that made it over you was probably also playing old man hockey, given his same age as you. So
I should dig that up. I'm curious.
But yeah, it's quite a program that is up here and has turned out, as we had mentioned, a number of state champions in multiple sports. I mean, it's just not the big 3, but or the big 4 if you want to count alpine skiing. But again,
well, big 1 and then the other 3.
But track and field is very good. Golf is very good. Oh, nice range there. Didn't quite double. They did double them up. No, they didn't.
No, I think that was him just ruling on the.
Oh, all right. Oh, he was ruling on that, because I was just like, wow. I was like, that would have been a bit of a call.
I'm not one to yell at ump call.
Right.
If that was an out.
Yeah. So 1 away here. 12-3 is Xaverian's able to get 1 in, and a foul ball there.
That was a nice play, because there's not been a lot of help so far this inning on defense.
Solid pitch there, 0-2. But again, you look at Norwood, though. Norwood certainly has also put together its fair share of good, solid sports programs. The one that comes to mind is certainly our.
Ooh, that hit someone.
That's why we're parked down here. Our girls field hockey team has just been an absolute powerhouse the past couple of years, getting to the state championship 2 years in a row. And then a couple of years ago, we certainly had good, solid chances at state championships in basketball. Drifts out there. 2 down. Football team has been very competitive the past several years, thanks to Coach Lopes and his crew. So trying to see what baseball team can do in the past couple of years. Has also certainly made tournaments, and we know about the boys hockey team in Norwood is under Coach Allen and assistant coach Daniel Hoover. Well, we've seen, let alone not only the varsity, but with that JV squad.
Oh, that JV squad. Oh,
undefeated, wicked. I think, this year. And
that's
if you ask,
a good sign for your varsity.
If you ask Coach Dan Hoover, he'll say that he's undefeated while he's on the bench, both varsity and JV.
I wonder if we could try that for other sports.
Just see what happens.
Stick them on, just put them in the dugout right now. See what
happens.
Yeah.
So 1-1 the count here with 2 away. Dearborn slightly off speed. Second and third. 12-3. Xaverian. Tough day for the Mustangs thus far. They travel to Ashland later to take on the Clockers, while the Xaverian will head to Holliston to take on the Panthers. So Xaverian scheduling a little bit of Tri-Valley here to start the season. Runs the full count. Oh, Dearborn's trying to get himself out of here. And that'll get through. And that'll score 2 right there. And that should do it. We were talking about the 10-run mercy rule. And with that single, that pushes the score to 14-3. And so with that, that will wrap it up here in the bottom of the 6th. So disappointing, obviously, but you take on this Xaverian baseball program, and it is one of the better ones in the state. So, a chance for some of these Norwood batters to face some of these, better hitters, and for some of the Norwood hitters a chance to face. Obviously, you saw what Rhodes did once he got himself settled down, and Wenstrom stepped in and was just as overpowering as well. So, you tip your cap for someone like Igo to schedule these kind of, matchups. These are not easy ones. A tough outing. Mustangs fall to 1-2, but Xaverian picks up their first win. So you're going to try to build on something like this, and now he doesn't have to put the Norwood garb on. He can wear the Xaverian garb. So great start for the Mustangs. It's a good, solid first inning, and things look like, whoa, what's going on here? A little bit of all right.
Yeah,
and then that was it. 3 runs in the first, and that was all that the Mustangs were able to plate, and it was all Xaverian the rest of the way. Pitching, hitting, defense. It is a terrific squad. You see why they went to the Final Four last year. I don't know enough about the Catholic Conference or what else is out there in D1, but boy, that looks like a team to keep an eye on. So
I know I will be. At
yeah,
Now that I've seen one game, I go, ooh, I got to see more of this.
Yeah. Kevin Hoover will get back on the Xaverian bandwagon there for baseball.
Yeah.
I don't blame you. So, your final here today, 14-3, as the Hawks take it to the Mustangs. They're going to have to regroup as they head to Ashland to start more Tri-Valley League. I want to thank Ron Marshalsea to set us all up here. Kev Hoover for coming out.
Thank you.
Welcome back to campus. Glad you enjoyed it. For Kevin, I'm Mark Hoover. Thanks again so much for joining us. Your final again, 14-3, Xaverian over the Mustangs here on NCM. Have a great afternoon.